Hello everyone, my name is Taku, also known as Dan, and this is going to be my post-commentated Let's Play of Demon's Souls, Dark Souls, and Dark Souls 2. Inside of this Let's Play we're going to be finding out what has changed in between the three games, what is better and what is worse. Now, I'm going to be trying to play each game in a 3-act system. So with Demon's Souls it's really easy to do, because Demon's Souls is set up to be played in a 3-act way. In Dark Souls it's a little bit harder, but still quite doable. And in Dark Souls 2, it's still somewhat of a 3-act system, but not really. It sort of tries. Anyway, this is going to be Demon's Souls, and I hope you enjoy it. For the most part I found this to be, the more I played it, the more I liked this game more than the other two iterations, as in Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2.
King Allant XII, by channeling the power of souls, brought unprecedented prosperity to his northern kingdom of Boletaria. That is, until the colorless deep fog swept across the land. Boletaria was cut off from the outside world, and those who dared penetrate the deep fog never returned. But Valarfax of the royal Twin Fangs broke free from the fog and told the world of Boletaria's plight. That the old King Allant had aroused the Old One, the great beast below the Nexus, from its eternal slumber, and that a colorless fog had swept in, unleashing terrible demons. The demons hunt down men and claim their souls. Those who lose their souls also lose their minds. The mad attack the sane, and chaos reigns. Valarfax spoke of the enticing power of the demon souls. Each time a demon claims a human soul, the demon's own soul is invigorated by the life force, and the power of a mature demon soul is beyond human imagination. The legend spread quickly. Mighty warriors were drawn to the accursed land, but none have returned. Bjor of the Twin Fangs, Yurt the Silent Chief, Sage Urbane, Skurber the Wanderer, the Sixth Saint Astraea and her knight Garl Vinland, and Sage Frake the Visionary. The colorless deep fog slowly creeps beyond Boletaria's borders. Humankind faces a slow and steady extinction. The deep fog will eventually swallow all lands, near and far. But Boletaria has one final hope. A lone warrior who has braved the baneful fog. Has the land found its savior? Or have the demons found a new slave?
Brave soul who fears not death. I shall guide you. So that you may lull the Old One back to slumber.
Alright, so just to point this out, these characters have humongous calves, if you have not noticed. I mean, the back of their ankles points out almost as much as the back of their upper legs. Okay, so here's the thing about Demon's Souls. You are more or less set up as potentially being the one after I whiffed that stabbing attack. This is the first time I played this game in forever. So that's the whole thing that sort of sets Dark Souls and Demon's Souls apart from Dark Souls 2, is that it's implied that it's implied, I should stress that word, that you may or may not be, you know, quote unquote, the one, you know. So when you run into a game where you're just some dude who is there for reasons because you were just forced to come there, it begins to make less sense. I mean, Dark Souls 1 was entirely supported on its first or second playthrough by the myth of being the chosen undead. And in this one, in Demon Souls, it really sets you up to where you might just be, you know, this hero, you know, this person who will go and make a difference, which, I don't know about you, but most people play games to be something more than what they are. I mean, I could sit here and play a game about being a writer where I just sit in front of a desk and write all the time, but that's not going to be the most interesting. And as we see right there, Dark Souls 1 has its fair share of enemies that attack crazy fast, but mostly those are just these guys, you know, the druglings. They aren't very dangerous. Being able to damage you just a little bit is sort of the only thing they have. They're sort of like commoners. They suck. So if you just gave somebody a weapon and said, attack people with it, ooh. Okay. So here I think I'm trying to, because I'm listening to music while I play these games. I have the game's audio and then a PC's audio spliced in with itself as I land a player. And more or less, I'm listening to music, you know, techno, drum, bass, Goa, and such, while I play these games. And those aren't better than anybody else, it's just preference. So, as you can see, the more lethal enemies, they tend to not have crazy swing the weapons all over the place attacks. They are bigger, they are more deliberate. It is a good idea to, if you can't riposte them, if you can't, then don't worry about it, just try not to die. This is essentially what this game comes down to. Try to land those parries, try to act in interesting ways, but this particular enemy is teaching you riposting, parrying and riposting. And he pretty much just turtles behind his shield, and since there is no shield bash out of the way thing like there is in Dark Souls 2, your only real recourse is to riposte him, or just slowly whittle him down. But I think he also eats grass if you get him too low. So, really I like this game. This is one of those games where if you play it naturally, you will like it. If you play it unnaturally, you know, just trying to go for straight damage, or trying to go for being the most powerful this or that, or going for a specific weapon really early like the Blue Blood Sword or something, you're going to not enjoy this game very much. Just plain and simple. Boss weapons, while they are powerful, are more or less of a as I forget to lock on. The boss weapons are better when they're used for, say, New Game Plus, or when they're used near the end of the game. If you rush straight to Maiden Estrella, and get the Blue Blood Sword, that's nice, but you're also sort of shooting yourself in the foot for how much you're going to enjoy this game. So don't do that. Just pick up a weapon that you can enjoy using and use it. In this game, the better strategy is to increase your, either to be a spellcaster and to increase your mana, or if you're going to be a melee character or a hybrid that spends a lot of time in melee, you want to instead increase your health and vitality so you can wear better armor, so you take less damage when you get hit, so you can have more health to survive getting hit and fight enemies longer, because that's really what melee is about in this game. So most people who are watching this video, I assume you have played Dark Souls 2. If you have not, I want you to just look at this boss. You notice how he has these really wide attacks, and he has some tracking, but when his attack animation starts, and it's usually a long delay between when the animation to a swing starts and when the attack actually hits. It's fairly large. This is because this enemy is well designed, unlike a lot of the enemies in Dark Souls 2. And while they do have hitboxes, you more or less, part of your character actually needs to be hitting their weapon most of the time for their hitboxes to hit you. Which is what happened then. I believe my legs were clipped by his sword arm, or by his axe arm, I should say, or his axe.
Let strength be granted so the world might be mended. So the world might be mended. This is the Nexus. It holds together the northern land of Boletaria. Thou canst not exit the Nexus, but each of the 5 archstones will connect.
So that is the Maiden in Black. She is more or less what the Emerald Herald was based on, but in a far better game. And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Next episode we will begin the first area, 1-1, I forget what it's called. Boletarian Palace, I believe. And there we will fight a bunch of enemies and kill a bunch of stuff and see our first dragon. Or Drake. I don't think it's an actual dragon. So, see you then.